Hi, good morning, and welcome to another Soulful Soother, a place where you can come and just end your busy week, but also make a fresh for the new week that you've got laying ahead in front of you right now. It's really nice to have you join me. My name's Rachel. My business is Glow with Rachel, and my gorgeous friend and business partner Lucy, intuitive therapist. We joined forces and we've created Soul Compass. So it's just a place for you to come, to be, to feel connected through us, through virtually, or if you're in the area, face to face, which is a real blessing. Just for us to help support one another navigate this thing that we call life. And I always say that at the beginning of mine, but I feel like every day there's a new challenge, every day there's a new anxiety, every day there's new light that gets to shine in, and it's us as individuals that get to decide how we want to work and process through this. And I really believe that connection through community is the best way, because when we see one another for who we truly are, I feel like that's when we get to heal. So that's what we wanted to bring you, this medicine that we wanted to co-create and offer. So today I'm just going to do a bit of a chatty one. I'm currently away staying with my beautiful mum. My daughter and I have come up, and we were away last weekend. It's been really manic for us. We were at Camp Festival supporting one of my best friends, Lou, her business. She supports children. Well, she has a kids creativity educational back to nature forest school, and she takes it to Camp Festival. So she took it to Camp Festival. She has for the last few years. So it's been really busy. So I've been trying to ground as much, and I've not been 100% this week. I think my body's really asking me to ground. So I've laid on the earth a lot today, and I've been hugging trees. We were in London yesterday, and I was finding trees in Covent Garden just to lay upon and just really ground. So yeah, there's lots of medicine in tree hugging. And I probably looked crazy, but hey, it doesn't matter what we look like, does it? But I really felt called to just continue on from sharing about trusting ourselves. And Lucy and I held space last week for Soaking Your Roots, which was a beautiful evening. So if you're watching this and you came and joined us last week, it was a real honour. It was a beautiful evening, beautiful session, through meditation, through the Reiki bath, the energy bath as we call it, and landing in the crystalline bowls, just the frequencies that they created and cocooned the body, cocooned the mind, cocooned the auric field. And yeah, it was a really lovely evening. But I feel I need to go by where I am at in my life, and that is about finding inner trust, which isn't easy for somebody who suffers with anxiety and you constantly seek external validation. This is my external validation, but outsourcing what is actually already within. And so I don't know, I've just done a little bit of work, a bit of journaling. So I've put together some things in my lovely journal book that my friend bought me last year. So it's building a strong internal support system, and I've got a couple of ideas, hopefully that you'll be able to resonate with a couple or at least one, and just hope that lands somewhere special for you to help you on your journey. So developing your inner resources, your inner resilience, and your self-compassion. I think the self-compassion is a big one, because we are so cruel to ourselves. And when we think about it, we wouldn't talk to our best friend, our children, our mum, the neighbour on the street, the way that we treat or speak to ourselves. So it's really pulling that back and saying, is this how I would speak to other people? And if it's not, why do you do it to yourself? Why do we do that to ourselves? So, and the reason why we want to build strong internal support systems for ourselves is so it helps us navigate through challenges that are happening now and that will happen in the future. Nobody gets through life plain sailing. Everyone has challenges and unexpectancies and things that they have to deal with, but the more grounded and the more self-resilient, self-trusting that we have, the easier that we will find that. You know, quite often we'll look at other people and say, how did they just cope with that? How did they just get through that? You know, how can they move through it so brilliantly? And some people are really brilliant and they can put masks on and they can just navigate it, and unfortunately that does stay within our system. But other people, they have real good inner navigation, inner self-compass. And so I really want to find that inner compass, and I'm sure you do too. So it helps navigate challenges with greater ease, greater stability, greater clarity, and greater, obviously, self-trust. So cultivating self-awareness is really lovely when we start to journal, because we get to notice patterns of behaviours, patterns in our days, in our own challenges. I notice my anxiety is worst when I'm tired and if I haven't had enough rest. So prioritising rest for me is really important, and I think a lot of people will resonate with that. But I really noticed journaling for me was a really good place to be able to track my own my anxieties and what was coming up for me, so I could notice those patterns. But creating mindfulness through your day, the really simple one, seeing the 5 things that you can smell, 5 things that you can see, 5 things that you can hear, 5 things that you've tasted that day, maybe not all at once, and 5 sounds, 5 positive affirmations or positive words about yourself, even about your day, if it's uncomfortable to say, I like this about myself. And also asking yourself, you know, how do I feel? What's going on today? What do I need to feel safe? And it could be a blanket, it could be a quiet room, it could be being with my friends, it could be listen to a podcast, going on YouTube to find some inspiration. But yeah, asking yourself is actually such a healing thing to do, because it's really interesting. You know, you'll be thinking now, oh, that resonates, or no, I don't like that idea. But who are you actually talking to? Who is that voice in your head? If you ask that voice in your head, what does it need? It is fascinating with the responses that come through, that get downloaded. And I really believe that's your higher self, that you can connect in that way. So another idea is build emotional regulation. So physically grounding. So when you're feeling stressed or anxious, getting outside. For me personally, and I've only just noticed this pattern, but I get really high in my thoughts, and I can catastrophize things, and it'll be the littlest thing, but it becomes huge. And I suffer with health anxiety. I've had therapy. I was on medication a few years ago for it. Actually, I went to my first Kundalini activation session, and I felt the higher source, higher power, God, my higher self, all told me to not be on the medication because I didn't need it. So that was my first real big sessions with the Kundalini. I've trained in it now. I've trained in Kundalini activation, so I understand it a lot more. But yeah, wow, that was really powerful. And of course, I'm not saying to you shouldn't take medicine, because medicine is incredible. We're very lucky that we've got it. It was just, for me, on a personal level, it wasn't right. But for me, I catastrophize my health anxieties, so I don't deal well with being unwell. So I really need to ground. And I noticed that as soon as I was getting myself into a state, I would end up literally laying vertical across the floor, because it was my body asking, showing me, moving me, or, you know, it was a subconscious thing. getting myself into that position where I was as much of my body was grounded as possible, and that made me feel better. So physically grounding is really important. Feeling crystals, you know, sitting with your crystals and allowing that energy to wash over you if you have crystals. Opening a book, it's really about coming back into your body. Reading a book, getting out in nature, showering or being in water, having a bath, having a bath bomb or beautiful scents in there, some essential oils or bubble bath, or just something to bring you back into your body. But for me, the water is really good at removing energy. So if you've picked up energy, if you're sensitive to energy like a lot of us are, sitting in that water or standing in that shower and just visualizing, and you don't even have to be in the water, you could just do a visualization, and you could find running water. I think Lucy said it on another chat that she did, or perhaps she sent it to me privately, and it was really good to connect and remind ourselves about that water. So yeah, just letting that energy wash over you is really good. Another really important one is naming your emotions. I am feeling, this has made me feel. And once we start to name our emotions, the feelings can become smaller. It's really powerful. So rather than being, so me and my health anxiety, rather than feeling all those catastrophic thoughts, if I can say the word tonight, I feel anxious, I have anxiety about this. Name it, don't claim it, name the anxiety. Don't claim that you have anxiety, but name that you are feeling it, because once we name a feeling, it's not attached to us. If I say I have anxiety, that's an attachment, that's a label, that's stuck in my energy field. But to say I am experiencing anxiety allows the anxiety to come through and to leave. Or I am angry comes through and it leaves. Or I am feeling angry comes through and I can leave, rather than I am angry and then it's all in your field. So another really important one is to pause, and this is really hard, but I find breath work is really, really powerful here. So if you pause before you react, you're just checking in, and just you could do the box breathing. So in for 4, hold for 4, out for 4, hold for 4. That's a really, really powerful one before you make a decision, before you react to something. So create personal toolkit. So coping rituals. So for me, I come home from work, I have a bubble bath, and then I can get on with my evening. I feel like I've had that break. My mentality is in a much better place, and I really notice if I haven't had a bath and I've gone straight into the evening. I've noticed, and then my family have definitely picked up that, oh, Rachel needed to have that break. So it's about putting those boundaries in there, and also protecting your own energy. You know, if something doesn't feel right, I'm in my human design, a whole nother topic. I'm a generator, and so I work with my gut. So I need to make decisions based on how it feels in my gut. You know, does that feel good, or does it not feel good? So yeah, so it's about protecting your boundaries. So reframing your narrative. It's so easy for us to get stuck into a loop and into a bit of a cycle, and unfortunately the negative cycles are much easier to get into than the positive ones. But it's really about challenging those negative self-thoughts, that negative self-talk. You know, is this true, what I'm thinking? Has somebody said that? Who has said that? Does their opinion really matter? Do I know them enough for that opinion to really matter? So is it true? And does it help me? Does it put me in a better place? Or does it hinder? Does it cause anger? Does it cause anxiety? Does it cause fear? And if it doesn't, let that go and put a new narrative in. And you know, a really good way of thinking this, is when we say to ourselves on that challenge, I can't do this, I'm not clever enough, I don't know enough, I haven't got enough experience, and then reframing it by saying, let's break this down. What can I learn from this? What can I do today or in this moment? And what can I put off until in an hour or in a day or two? So yeah, so that's a really good one. Reframing your narrative. It's really powerful. Nurture self-trust. So keep small promises to yourself. I'm going to go to bed tonight at 10 o'clock or 9 o'clock. I'm going to sit with Mama Cacao tonight and journal. Just keeping those small promises to yourself just really builds self-trust and self-resilience. And reflect on past resilience. You know, what have you got through that was really challenging but you were really proud of? Or what did you get through that was amazing that you feel really proud of yourself? What have you done in your life? It doesn't have to be this week. It could be something that happened 20 years ago. You're still allowed to be proud of yourself just because it's not a recent thing. It's still a part of your journey. It's still a part of who you are. So reconnecting to that is really powerful. And connect with meaning. So identify your core values, find purpose. Perhaps it's helping others or helping yourself create and learn, relearn. Yeah, just really amazing things that you get to do. And replenish your energy. Prioritize rest. It's so important. And however that looks for you. So yeah, so I hope today really helps just to help with you in your self-building strong internal support systems. And if you've got any more, leave them in the comments below, because yeah, I think we need to build a community where we are constantly sharing, because that's how we grow. So yeah, anyway, if you like today's video, please like, please subscribe, and please share on whatever social media platform. I would be so grateful. Anyway, hope you have a beautiful Sunday. Thanks for joining.